The thing about working the floor at the Luxor, excuse me, the new Luxor, not the pyramid one, is you learn to spot trouble before it becomes trouble. 23 years dealing cards, supervising tables, watching cameras, and you develop a sixth sense. Guy betting heavy on red after 17 blacks? He's about to lose his mortgage. Woman at the penny slots who hasn't moved in 6 hours? Medical emergency waiting to happen. Dealer with shaky hands on a Friday night? Either divorce papers or a substance problem, and either way, I'm getting security involved. I was watching table 7, blackjack, $25 minimum, decent action for a Tuesday afternoon, when Mia called. My daughter never calls during my shift unless it's important, so I stepped away from the pit, nodding to Roderick to cover. Dad, I'm at the Bellagio food court. Can you pick me up early? Your mom's shift doesn't end until 6. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Just, there's this guy at the poker tables who keeps coughing, and he looks really sick. Like, gray-faced sick. Security won't do anything because he's up 12 grand. I checked my watch. 3:47. Stay in public areas. I'll have your mom grab you in 2 hours. Dad. Public areas, Mia. Food court's fine. Don't go wandering. I paused, caught between paranoia and genuine concern. Mia's 16, smart, cautious like her old man. Maybe too cautious, her mother says, but something in her voice bothered me. What kind of cough? Wet. Really wet. And he keeps playing even though he's swaying in his seat. Classic. Gamblers play through heart attacks, strokes, diabetic episodes. I've seen them all. The Bellagio's problem, not mine. 2 hours. Stay put. I hung up and turned back to the floor, but my attention kept drifting. Table 7 was fine. Dealer was Rita, 15 years in, solid as they come, hands steady even when some drunk asshole called her a cheat. But something felt off. Not wrong exactly, just off. The Luxor remodel cost $340 million, stripped out all the Egyptian kitsch, went for the sleek Dubai meets Miami vibe that the consultants promised would attract high rollers. Turns out high rollers don't give a shit about interior design. They care about comps and table limits. But I kept my mouth shut at the meetings. Pit bosses don't question renovation decisions if they want to keep their jobs. Especially pit bosses who are 3 years from retirement and still paying off an ex-wife's settlement. My phone buzzed. Text from Tommy Gao, my counterpart at the Bellagio. Your kid here? Food court. Why? Weird situation developing. Poker room. You should come get her. I felt my jaw tighten. Tommy wouldn't text during shift hours unless it was serious. I pulled Roderick aside. Cover the pit. Family emergency. How long? Hour, maybe 2. Text if anything explodes. Roderick nodded, already scanning my tables, absorbing the flows and rhythms. Good kid, well 31, but anyone under 40 is a kid to me. He'd make supervisor in another year if he stopped apologizing every time he corrected a dealer's mistake. The strip was bright even at 4 p.m., that relentless Nevada sun beating down on crowds of tourists shuffling between casinos. I cut through the Luxor parking garage to my truck, 2019 F-150, silver. Bought used because new was stupid when you work on the strip and tourists ding your doors in parking lots. The air conditioning hit like salvation. Vegas traffic is its own special hell. Tourists who can't drive, locals who drive like maniacs, and rideshare drivers who stop in the middle of Las Vegas Boulevard because their app told them to. I took Paradise instead, cutting up to Flamingo, ignoring 3 calls from the Luxor's floor supervisor. Whatever was happening could wait 20 minutes. The Bellagio parking garage smelled like hot asphalt and exhaust. I jogged through the casino floor, slots ringing, table games humming, that distinctive white noise roar of 1,000 people gambling at once. The food court was near the poker room, and I spotted Mia immediately. She was standing near the California pizza kitchen, phone in hand, watching something across the way. What's going on? I asked, touching her shoulder. She jumped. Dad. Thank God. She pointed toward the poker room entrance. That guy I told you about? He collapsed. They're trying to move him, but he keeps getting up. I looked. 20 yards away, a crowd had formed near the poker room. Security was there, 2 guards in Bellagio blazers looking uncertain. Between them, A man in his 50s was on his knees, gray-faced like Mia said, vomiting something dark onto the carpet. Every few seconds he'd try to stand, and the guards would ease him back down. "They call paramedics?" I asked. "10 minutes ago." "He won't stay still. I've seen medical emergencies on the floor. Heart attacks, seizures, diabetic shock, you learn to recognize them. This wasn't any of those. The man's movements were wrong, jerky, like a puppet with tangled strings. And the sound he was making, not quite coughing, not quite choking. Something wetter. "Come on," I said, taking Mia's arm. "We're leaving. Shouldn't we? Not our casino, not our problem." We were halfway to the parking garage when the screaming started. I've worked Vegas long enough to know what different screams mean. Jackpot scream. High-pitched, joyful, usually from the slots. Losing scream. Angry, frustrated, usually from a craps table after a bad roll. This was different. This was the sound of genuine terror. Mia grabbed my arm. "Dad, keep moving." I steered her toward the exit, but the crowd was already surging backward, away from the poker room. People were running now, not walking. Running in a casino means something very bad: fire, shooter, bomb threat. I pulled Mia against a support pillar, shielding her with my body while I tried to see what was happening. The gray-faced man was standing now. No, not standing. Moving. He'd gotten past security somehow, and he was lurching through the crowd near the poker tables. One of the guards was on the ground, clutching his arm. The other was backing away, radio in hand, yelling something I couldn't hear over the noise. Then I saw the gray-faced man grab a woman. She screamed, that terror scream, and tried to pull away, but he held on, pulling her close. For a second, I thought he was going to kiss her. Instead, he bit her face. "Jesus Christ," I whispered. Mia made a sound, not quite a scream, more like a whimper. "Dad, what?" "Don't look." I turned her away, pressing her face against my shoulder. "Don't look, baby. We're leaving. Now." Getting out of the Bellagio was chaos. The crowd was panicking, pushing toward exits, trampling people who fell. I kept one arm around Mia, using my other to shove through the press of bodies. Someone's elbow caught my ribs. Someone's purse strap tangled in my shirt. I ripped free, dragging Mia behind me. We made it to the parking garage. My hands were shaking so bad I dropped my keys twice before getting the truck unlocked. Mia climbed in, silent, face pale. I started the engine, reversed out, nearly hit a BMW. "Dad," Mia said quietly. "That man, he bit that woman." "I know. People don't do that." "I know, baby." I focused on driving, cutting through the garage levels, heading for the exit. My phone was ringing again. Luxor, probably wondering where the hell I was. I ignored it. "Are we going home?" I thought about our apartment in Henderson. 30-minute drive on a good day, longer with traffic. Thought about Mia's mother, Jenna, who was working a double at Caesar's Palace until midnight. Thought about how fast that gray-faced man had moved, how wrong everything about him had looked. "No," I said. "We're going to your mom's casino. We're getting her, and then we're leaving the Strip." "Leaving Vegas?" "Maybe." I merged onto Las Vegas Boulevard, joining the traffic heading north. The sun was lower now, painting the casino towers gold and orange. Beautiful like always. Vegas is beautiful right up until it kills you. That's what the old-timers say. Mostly they mean the heat or the gambling addiction, but right now I was wondering if they meant something else entirely. My phone rang again. This time it was Tommy Gao. "Danny." His voice was strained. "Where are you?" "Left. Took my kid." "Tommy, what the hell was that?" "I don't know, but it's not just the poker room. We've got 3 more, no, for people acting the same way. Security's trying to contain them, but they're fast, and they're biting anyone who gets close. Management's locked down the main entrances. They can't lock down a casino. They just did. Fire marshal's going to have their asses, but right now nobody's getting in or out." He paused. "Danny, the guy from the poker room? The one who started it? He's dead. Security confirmed it, but he's still moving." I felt something cold settle in my stomach. "Dead how?" Heart stopped. No breathing. But he's still, Tommy's voice cracked. He's still walking around, Danny. Still biting people. What the fuck is that? I didn't have an answer. I hung up and looked at Mia. She was staring out the window at the passing casinos. Aria, Cosmopolitan, Planet Hollywood, all glittering in the afternoon light. Normal. Everything looked completely normal. Dad. Her voice was small. What's happening? I don't know. I squeezed her hand. But we're going to get your mom, and we're going to figure it out together. Okay? She nodded, but her hand was shaking in mine. My phone buzzed. Text from Roderick. Floor supervisor wants you back now. Emergency meeting. I deleted it and kept driving. Caesar's Palace is a maze designed by sadists. To get anywhere useful, you have to walk past 1,000 slot machines, 3 dozen table games, and at least 5 restaurants. The architects do it on purpose. The longer you're inside, the more likely you are to gamble. Good for business, hell for anyone trying to navigate quickly. I parked in the Forum Shop's garage and pulled out my phone. Called Jenna directly. Danny? I'm working. Her voice had that sharp edge it always got when I interrupted her shift. We'd been divorced 4 years, but some habits die hard. Where are you right now? Exactly. Pit 4, near the high limit room. Why? What's wrong? I'm coming to get you. Don't argue, don't ask questions. Just tell me where Pit 4 is from the Forum Shop's entrance. Silence. Then, Danny, what happened? Is Mia okay? She's with me. She's fine. Where's Pit 4? Through the casino floor, past the main pit, left at the sports book. But Danny, stay there. We're coming. I hung up before she could argue and looked at Mia. You ready? She nodded, but I could see the fear in her eyes. Smart kid. Too smart for her own good sometimes. We entered through the Forum Shops. Fake Roman architecture and overpriced stores. Eternally crowded with tourists taking photos. The sky ceiling was showing sunset, which meant it was actually evening. I'd lost track of time. The casino floor was packed. Tuesday evening, prime gambling hours, tables full and slots ringing their electronic songs. Everything normal, everything fine, except my phone was buzzing constantly now. Messages from Tommy, from Roderick, from the Luxor's floor supervisor. I ignored them all. I spotted Jenna before she saw us. She was standing at the edge of Pit 4, clipboard in hand, watching a roulette table with that focused intensity that meant someone was either cheating or winning too much. 38 years old, still beautiful in her dealer's uniform, dark hair pulled back tight. When we'd met 20 years ago, she was slinging cards at the Mirage, all smiles and charm. Now she was a pit boss like me, all business and suspicion. Jenna. I touched her elbow. She turned, saw Mia, and her professional mask slipped. What's wrong? We need to leave. Now, all 3 of us. Danny, I'm working. I can't just. The Bellagio's locked down. Some kind of medical emergency. Multiple people getting violent. She stared at me. Medical emergency? People biting other people. Tommy Gao called me. It's spreading. That's... She stopped, looked at Mia, then back at me. That's insane. I saw it. Mia's voice was quiet but steady. A man bit a woman's face. In the poker room. Security couldn't stop him. Jenna's expression changed. She knew Mia didn't lie, especially not about something like this. Let me talk to my supervisor. No time. Danny. Her voice went hard. I'm not walking off the floor without explaining why. 5 minutes. She disappeared into the back offices before I could argue. I stood there with Mia, watching the casino crowd, feeling increasingly paranoid. Every cough, every stumble, every person moving too slowly or too erratically caught my attention. A woman at the slots doubled over, hand to her mouth. Just drunk, I told myself. Just drunk. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered anyway. Is this Danny Reeves? Male voice, professional, stressed. Who's asking? Dr. Michael Chun, CDC. I'm calling all casino floor supervisors in the Las Vegas area. We have a situation developing. I know. I was at the Bellagio. Brief silence. Then you understand the severity. We're implementing containment protocols, but we need cooperation from casino management. The outbreak started approximately 2 hours ago at the Bellagio poker room, but we're seeing secondary cases at papers rustling, the Luxor, Aria, and MGM Grand, possibly others. Outbreak of what? Unknown pathogen. Transmission appears to be through bodily fluids, primarily saliva. Incubation is extremely rapid, 15 to 30 minutes from exposure to symptom onset. Symptoms include severe respiratory distress, loss of higher brain function, and aggressive behavior. Dr. Reeves, Mr. Reeves, we need you to stay where you are and help implement lockdown procedures at Caesar's Palace. I'm not a doctor. I'm a pit boss. You're someone with authority on the casino floor. We need to prevent panic while... I hung up, looked at Mia. We're leaving. Dad, what did? We're leaving right now. Jenna emerged from the back offices, face pale. My supervisor says the strip is shutting down. Emergency order from the governor. All casinos are implementing lockdown in 30 minutes. Then we have 30 minutes to get out. Danny, you saw Mia's face. You know she's not making this up. Something is happening, and I'm not waiting around to see how bad it gets. I grabbed Jenna's arm. You can come with us or stay here, but we're leaving. She looked at me, then at Mia, then at the casino floor, making calculations. Jenna was always good at calculating odds. It's why she was a good pit boss, why our marriage had failed. She knew when to fold. Let me get my purse. Getting out of Caesar's Palace took 10 minutes that felt like 10 hours. The crowd was thicker now, tourists clogging the aisles, security guards stationed at the main exits but not stopping anyone yet. On our way past the sports book, I saw it. A man collapsed near the betting windows, 3 security guards around him, one speaking urgently into a radio. The man's face was gray. His chest wasn't moving. Then his hand twitched. Keep walking, I told Jenna and Mia. Don't look. We made it to the parking garage. I was fumbling for my keys when Jenna grabbed my arm. Danny, look. She was pointing at the casino entrance we just exited. Security was rolling down the metal gates, the ones that were supposed to be for emergency use only. Inside, I could see the crowd starting to realize what was happening. Tourists pressing against the gates, security pushing them back. They locked it down early, Jenna whispered. Good, we're already out. I unlocked the truck. Get in. Mia climbed in the back. Jenna hesitated. Where are we going? Henderson, our apartment. We'll figure it out from there. Danny, if this is what the CDC says, if it's spreading, Henderson's not safe. Nothing in the valley is safe. Then we go farther. Jean, Prim, Parump. I started the engine. Anywhere but here. Jenna got in. I backed out of the parking space, nearly hitting a BMW again. Different BMW, same stupid parking job. The garage exit led to Flamingo Road. I turned left, heading away from the strip, and that's when I saw it. Traffic. Everywhere. Cars backed up for blocks, horns blaring, people getting out of their vehicles to yell at each other. The kind of gridlock you only see during New Year's Eve or a massive accident on the 15th. But this was different. This was evacuation panic. Shit, I breathed. Dad, Mia's voice from the back seat. It's fine. We'll take surface streets. But the surface streets were just as bad. I cut down side streets, trying to find a route to Henderson that didn't involve sitting in traffic for hours. Every turn revealed more cars, more people. Some were sitting in their vehicles, engines running. Others had abandoned their cars and were walking, carrying luggage, children, whatever they could grab. My phone rang again. Tommy Gao. Danny, where are you? Trying to get out of the city. You? Still at the Bellagio. They won't let us leave. Buildings locked down. We've got maybe 1,000 people trapped inside. And his voice dropped. Danny, it's spreading inside. The people who got bitten, they're dying and then they're getting up and they're biting others. Security's trying to contain them to the poker room, but there's too many now. I felt my hands tighten on the steering wheel. Get somewhere safe. Barricade yourself in an office. I'm in the security control room. We're watching it on the cameras. He made a sound that might have been a laugh or a sob. It's like a zombie movie, Danny. I know how that sounds, but I'm watching it happen on 30 different screens, and that's exactly what it looks like. Tommy, the CDC guy who called earlier, he's dead. Grabbed him right outside the poker room. We watched it happen. Security tried to help, but static, spreading too fast. Too many of them now. Tommy, get out. Find a way out. There's no way out. They welded the emergency exits shut. Fire code violation, but management was worried about people sneaking in without paying resort fees. He laughed again, high and strained. Resort fees. Can you believe that shit? We're going to die because of resort fees. The line went dead. I threw the phone onto the dashboard. Jenna was staring at me. What did he say? He said it's spreading. He said people are dying and getting up. That's not possible. Tell that to Tommy. We drove in silence for a while, inching through traffic. The sun was setting now, painting the sky orange and purple. Beautiful. Vegas sunset, the kind tourists take 1,000 photos of. Behind us, the Strip's lights were coming on, Luxor's beam, the Eiffel Tower, the high roller observation wheel. Everything normal. Everything fine. Except it wasn't. We didn't make it to Henderson. The roads out were completely blocked. Accidents, abandoned cars, police barricades. By the time we realized we weren't getting out, it was full dark and my gas tank was showing a quarter full. I made a decision I hoped wasn't stupid. We went back toward the Strip. Danny, what are you doing? Jenna's voice was tight. We need supplies. Food, water, somewhere secure to wait this out. The Strip has all of that. The Strip is where this started. The Strip has hotels with 30 floors, emergency supplies, kitchens. And most people are trying to leave, which means it'll be less crowded than anywhere else. I turned onto Las Vegas Boulevard, heading south. We hole up somewhere high, wait for the CDC to get control, then get out when the road's clear. And if the CDC doesn't get control, I didn't answer that. The Strip was surreal. Half the casinos still had their lights on, signs flashing, fountains running. The other half were dark, security gates down, emergency lights flickering. Traffic was almost non-existent. Everyone who could leave had already tried. We passed the Bellagio. The parking garage entrance was blocked by security vehicles, lights flashing. I saw shapes moving inside the casino, too far to see clearly, but I knew what they were. Don't look, I told Mia. She was already looking. We passed the Cosmopolitan, the Aria, the Park MGM. All locked down, all with security presence outside. At the MGM Grand, I saw the National Guard, 3 trucks, soldiers in fatigues, setting up barriers. Too little, too late, but at least someone was trying. The Luxor was dark, completely dark. The beam that usually shot into the sky was off. The parking garage entrance was blocked, but not by security, by cars that had crashed into each other, forming an accidental barrier. I pulled into the Mandalay Bay parking structure instead, 3 casinos down. Why here? Jenna asked. I know this place. Worked here for 6 years before moving to the Luxor. I parked on the 3rd level, away from the elevators but close enough to run if needed. Stay close. Don't make noise. Don't touch anything. We walked through the parking garage to the casino entrance. The automatic doors were still working. Inside, the casino floor was chaos, not from living people but from the aftermath. Overturned slot machines, scattered chips, playing cards littering the floor. Blood on the carpet. Lots of blood. Dad, Mia whispered. Are they here? I don't know. Stay quiet. We moved through the casino floor carefully. I grabbed a discarded room key from a registration desk. Someone had dropped a whole stack during the evacuation. Tried the elevators. No power. Stairs it was. We're going up, I told Jenna and Mia. High as we can. At least 20 floors. The higher we are, the safer. The stairwell was dark except for emergency lighting. Our footsteps echoed. I kept expecting to hear other sounds. Moaning, shuffling, the wet sounds Tommy had described on the phone, but there was only silence. We climbed. By the 10th floor, my legs were burning. By the 20th, Jenna was breathing hard, and Mia was pale. But we kept going. 25th floor, 30th. The stairwell door on 32 was propped open, and I could hear sound from the hallway. A voice, maybe, or a TV. Wait here, I told Jenna. Lock the stairwell door behind me. If I'm not back in 5 minutes, keep going up. Danny, 5 minutes. I pushed through the door into the hallway. The voice was clearer now. Definitely a TV, playing to an empty hallway. I followed it to room 3247. The door was open. Inside, CNN was playing on the wall-mounted screen, showing helicopter footage of the Strip. The volume was loud enough that I could hear it from the hallway. Situation deteriorating rapidly, the reporter was saying. The CDC has confirmed at least 12 separate outbreak sites across Las Vegas, with the heaviest concentration here on the Strip. Military personnel are establishing quarantine zones, but officials admit they're overwhelmed. The nature of the pathogen remains unknown, though witnesses describe victims exhibiting extreme aggression and… The reporter paused, listening to something off camera. We're receiving reports of similar outbreaks in Los Angeles and Phoenix. It appears. Static. The screen went black. I stepped into the room. It was trashed. Clothes everywhere, suitcase open, laptop smashed on the floor. But no people. No bodies. Just the wreckage of someone's panicked evacuation. I went back to the stairwell. It's clear. Room 3247. Let's go. We set up camp in the hotel room. Jenna found granola bars in the minibar. $1.15 each, but who was counting now? Mia curled up on one of the beds, exhausted. I stood by the window looking down at the Strip. From 32 floors up, everything looked almost normal. The lights were still on in most casinos. The streets were empty, but that could have been any Tuesday at 3 a.m. Except it was only 9:30, and there should have been thousands of people down there. Movement caught my eye, something on Las Vegas Boulevard, near the Excalibur. I pressed my face against the glass. Figures, dozens of them, moving in a group. Too far to see clearly, but I knew what they were. They were walking north toward… Oh no! I whispered. What? Jenna came to stand beside me. I pointed. They're heading toward the Luxor, my casino. So Roderick might still be there. Other staff. If they locked down like the Bellagio did. I pulled out my phone. No signal. Tried again. Nothing. Cell towers must be down. Danny, you can't help them. I can try. No. Jenna grabbed my arm. You can't. We have Mia to think about. We stay here, we stay safe. We wait for rescue. There's not going to be rescue, Jenna. You heard Tommy. You saw the news. This isn't a containable outbreak. This is… I couldn't say it. Saying it made it real. This is what? Her voice was sharp. Apocalypse? End of the world? That's not real, Danny. That's movie bullshit. The CDC will figure it out. The military will quarantine the city. In a week, this'll be over and we'll all laugh about how we panicked. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But I kept seeing that gray-faced man in the Bellagio poker room. Kept hearing Tommy's voice on the phone. Watching it happen on 30 different screens. Dad! Mia was sitting up on the bed, looking at us. What are we going to do? I looked at Jenna. She looked back at me. 20 years of marriage, 4 years of divorce, and in that moment we understood each other perfectly. We were thinking the same thing. How do we keep our daughter alive? We stay here tonight, I said. We rest. Tomorrow we figure out next steps. And if there is no tomorrow? Mia asked quietly. I didn't have an answer for that. I didn't sleep. Couldn't. I stood by the window all night watching the Strip below. The lights were dying one by one. Excalibur went dark at midnight, the MGM Grand at 1, New York at 2. By 3 a.m., the only lights left were the Mandalay Bay emergency systems and a few scattered casinos further north. The Strip, the brightest place in America, was going dark. Movement below caught my attention around 4. The group I'd seen earlier, the infected, I couldn't call them anything else, had grown. Hundreds of them now, maybe thousands. filling Las Vegas Boulevard. They moved in a loose mass, heading north toward the main cluster of casinos, toward the Luxor, Excalibur, Aria, toward Tommy at the Bellagio, if he was still alive. I pressed my forehead against the cool glass and closed my eyes. Danny, Jenna's voice. She was awake, standing behind me. You need to rest. Can't. You have to. For Mia. I turned. In the dim light from the window, Jenna looked older than 38. Tired, scared, but still beautiful. I'm sorry, I said. For what? For this. For not getting us out sooner. For. Stop. She moved closer, took my hand. This isn't your fault. You didn't know. None of us knew. I should have known. I saw that man at the Bellagio. I should have understood. How? How could you have understood? Nobody could have. She squeezed my hand. We're here now. We're alive. That's what matters. For how long? She didn't answer. We stood together, watching the darkness outside. Somewhere in the hotel, something crashed. Jenna jumped. I moved to the door, pressed my ear against it. Silence. Then another crash, closer. Third floor, maybe, or fourth. Too far to be certain, but too close to ignore. They're inside. I whispered. Jenna went pale. How? I don't know. Maybe the parking garage. Maybe someone left a door open. I looked at Mia, still asleep on the bed. We need to barricade this room. Move furniture against the door. We worked quickly and quietly. Dresser, desk, both beds pushed against the door. It wouldn't stop them, nothing would really stop them, but it might slow them down. Give us time to what? We were 32 floors up. No way down except the stairs. If they were in the building, if they were between us and the exits. The roof, I said. What? The roof. We go up instead of down. Wait there. Maybe someone will see us. Maybe. Maybe what, Danny? A helicopter? The cavalry? Nobody's coming. You said it yourself. Then what do you suggest? I suggest we wait. We have food for a few days. Water. We stay quiet, we stay still, and we wait for this to blow over. And if it doesn't blow over? She looked at me with something like pity. Then we're dead anyway, and it doesn't matter where we wait. Morning came. Gray light through the windows, showing a gray world. The strip looked like a ghost town. Empty streets, dark casinos, cars abandoned at odd angles. The mass of infected had moved on, heading north. Toward downtown, maybe, or just following some instinct we couldn't understand. My phone buzzed. I snatched it up, hope-surging signal. But it was just a low battery warning. No service. No messages. I threw it onto the bed. Dad. Mia was awake, watching me. What day is it? Wednesday. I checked my watch, still working, at least. 7:43 a.m. Felt like a year since Tuesday afternoon. Is Mom's casino still locked down? Jenna answered before I could. Probably, baby. But don't worry. We're safe here. For how long? As long as we need to be. Mia looked at me. Smart kid. Too smart. She knew her mother was lying. Dad, tell me the truth. Are we going to die? I wanted to lie. Wanted to promise everything would be fine. But I'd never lied to Mia, not about the important things. Not when her mother and I split. Not when she asked why some families stayed together and others didn't. Not about anything that mattered. I don't know, I said. Maybe. But I'm going to do everything I can to keep you alive. That's a promise. She nodded slowly. Okay. The crashes were louder now. Closer. Definitely this floor or the one below. I could hear other sounds too. Breaking glass, something heavy dragging across carpet, and underneath it all, a low moaning that made my skin crawl. We need to go, I said. Now. Roof access. Danny. Now, Jenna. Grab whatever food you can carry. We're moving. We pulled the furniture away from the door as quietly as we could. I cracked it open, peeked into the hallway. Empty. Emergency lights still working, casting everything in red. The moaning was coming from the left, toward the elevator bank. We went right, toward the stairwell access. The door to the stairs was jammed. something blocking it from the other side. I pushed harder, it gave a few inches, then stopped. Through the gap, I could see what was blocking it. A body. Security guard by the uniform. Face gray, chest still. But his eyes were open. As I watched, his hand twitched. I slammed the door shut. Other way. Fire stairs. The fire stairs were at the opposite end of the hallway. We ran, quiet as we could, but running. Behind us, something crashed. The moaning got louder. I didn't look back. The fire stairs door was unlocked. We pushed through and I grabbed the handle, pulling it shut behind us. The automatic closer hissed. For a moment there was silence. Then something hit the other side of the door. Hard. The metal shuddered. "Go," I said. "Up, go." We climbed. The emergency lighting in the stairwell was failing, flickering on and off. 33rd floor. 34th. Below us, the door crashed open. Footsteps on the stairs, uneven, dragging but following. Always following. How many floors? Mia gasped. 39 total. 5 more. I can't. Yes, you can. Keep moving. 35th. 36th. The footsteps behind us were getting closer. I risked a look down. 3 figures climbing toward us, gray-faced, mouths open. One was wearing a Mandalay Bay uniform. Housekeeping, maybe, or food service. The other 2 were tourists, I could tell by their clothes. Resort casual. Tommy Bahama shirts and cargo shorts. Vacation outfits for people who'd never go home. 37th. 38th. The roof access was on 39, behind a door marked authorized personnel only. I hit it at full speed. Locked. Shit. I looked around, fire extinguisher on the wall. I grabbed it, smashed the handle against the door lock. Once, twice. The lock gave on the 3rd hit and the door swung open onto sunlight and wind and open sky. We stumbled onto the roof. Las Vegas spread out below us. The strip to the north, the airport to the south, mountains in every direction. Beautiful. Always beautiful. Even now. I slammed the door shut and looked for something to barricade it with. There, an HVAC unit, big industrial thing, maybe 10 feet away. I grabbed Jenna's arm. "Help me." We pushed together. The unit didn't budge. "Dad." Mia was pointing at the door. The handle was turning. "Harder," I grunted. Jenna and I threw our weight against the HVAC unit. It shifted an inch. Another. The door was opening now. Gray hands reaching through. The HVAC unit slid suddenly, and we fell against it, pushing it the last few feet. It hit the door just as the first figure emerged. The door slammed shut, crushing the figure's arm. It didn't scream, just kept pushing, trying to force the door wider. I found a loose piece of metal roofing and jammed it between the HVAC unit and the door frame. Not much, but it would hold. For a while, we collapsed on the roof, breathing hard. The sun was fully up now, heating the black roof surface. Vegas in October, still 85 degrees by noon. We had maybe 6 hours before heat exhaustion became a problem. And we had no water. "Now what?" Jenna asked. I looked around the roof. Service equipment, ventilation shafts, a maintenance shed near the far edge. And beyond that, nothing. Just 40 floors of drop to the parking lot below. "We wait," I said. "Someone will come. Police, military, rescue helicopters. Someone. Danny. Someone will come." I repeated louder, because if I said it enough times, maybe it would be true. Noon came and went. No helicopters. No rescue. Just us on the roof, the sun beating down, and the infected pounding on the door below. The sound was constant, not loud, but persistent. A reminder that we were trapped. Mia found a maintenance shed unlocked near the southern edge. Inside were tools, cleaning supplies, and, miracle, 2 cases of bottled water. We drank greedily, not caring that the water was hot from sitting in the sun. It was wet. That was enough. "Dad, look." Mia was at the roof edge, pointing down at the strip. "Something's different." I joined her. She was right. The mass of infected I'd seen last night had grown. It wasn't just hundreds now, it was thousands, maybe tens of thousands. They filled Las Vegas Boulevard from sidewalk to sidewalk, a shambling river of gray flesh moving north. And they weren't random anymore. They were organized. Not thinking, nothing about their movements suggested intelligence, but purposeful. Following some instinct, some drive we couldn't understand. And they were converging on the Luxor. Why there? Jenna asked, standing beside me. I don't know. Maybe the lights? The casino's dark, but the pyramid structure might. I stopped. The pyramid. The beam. Even with the main beam off, there were backup systems, emergency lighting. Maybe that was enough. Maybe they were attracted to light. Or maybe it's the sound, Jenna said quietly. What sound? She pointed. I looked closer. The Luxor wasn't as dark as I'd thought. Some of the windows were lit, interior lights maybe, or emergency systems. And now that I was looking for it, I could see movement. People in the windows. Staff, tourists, anyone who'd been trapped when the lockdown happened. And they were making noise. I couldn't hear it from here, but I could imagine it. Screaming, pounding on windows, calling for help. Drawing the infected like moths to flame. Oh God! I whispered. Roderick might be there. You don't know that. He was covering my shift. He was in the pit when I left. I pressed my hands against the roof edge, feeling the rough concrete dig into my palms. I should have told him to leave. Should have warned him. Danny, you couldn't have known. I knew enough. I saw what was happening at the Bellagio. I should have called him, told him to get out. And if you had, he probably wouldn't have listened. You know how floor supervisors are. They don't abandon their posts. Jenna's voice was gentle. This isn't your fault. Then whose fault is it? Nobody's. Everybody's. Does it matter? She took my hand, pulled me away from the edge. What matters is we're alive. We have water. We have shelter. We can survive this. For how long? A week? 2 weeks? Eventually we'll run out of water, or they'll break through that door, or someone will rescue us. Nobody's coming, Jenna. You said it yourself. I was wrong. I looked at her. She was crying. Not sobbing, just silent tears running down her face. For years divorced, and I'd never seen her cry. Not when I'd served the papers. Not during the custody hearings. Not once. Jenna, I was wrong. Okay? Someone has to come. Someone has to figure this out. Because if they don't, her voice broke. If they don't, then what was the point? Everything we built, everything we worked for, everything we… She looked at Mia, sitting by the maintenance shed, staring at nothing. Everything we made. What's the point if it just ends like this? I pulled her close, let her cry against my shoulder. Over her head, I could see the strip. The Luxor was completely surrounded now. The infected were climbing over each other, pressing against the walls, drawn by whatever was inside. As I watched, one of the lit windows went dark. Then another. The sounds of breaking glass carried faintly across the distance. Roderick was dead. Tommy was probably dead. Everyone at the Bellagio, the Luxor, Caesar's Palace, all dead. And we were next. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But soon. Because Jenna was wrong about one thing. Nobody was coming. Nobody could come. The infected weren't just in Vegas anymore. The news had said Los Angeles, Phoenix. How far had it spread while we were running? How many cities? How many millions? I looked down at Jenna, still crying. And Mia sitting alone. My ex-wife and my daughter. The two most important people in my world. And I realized something. I had a choice to make. Not now, not yet, but soon. When the water ran out. When the infected broke through the door. When there was no hope left. I could let them become like those things below. Let them die and rise and shamble forever in the ruins of Las Vegas. Or I could end it. Quick. Painless. Before the infection took them. My hand went to my pocket, to my keys. To the small utility knife I'd carried for 20 years. 7 inches of folded steel. Sharp enough to cut through anything. Sharp enough. Danny. Jenna pulled back, looking at me. What are you thinking? Nothing. Just… I forced a smile. Just thinking about what to do next. She searched my face, and I saw the moment she understood. Her eyes went wide. Danny, no. Don't even think about it. I'm not. You are. I can see it. She grabbed my arms. Whatever you're thinking, don't. We survive. All of us. Together. Promise me. I wanted to promise. Wanted to believe. But I kept seeing those things at the Luxor, climbing over each other, driven by mindless hunger. Kept hearing Tommy on the phone. It's like a zombie movie. Danny.
I promise. I lead.
3 days. That's how long we lasted on the roof. The first day wasn't so bad. We had water, we had shade from the maintenance shed, and we could still see signs of life in the city. Helicopters in the distance. Smoke from fires. Gunshots echoing across the valley. Signs that someone somewhere was still fighting. The second day, those signs stopped.
No helicopters.
No gunshots. Just silence. Broken only by the moaning of the infected and the occasional crash from inside the Mandalay Bay below us. The third day, Mia got sick. It started with a cough. Just a small thing, nothing serious, probably just the heat and dust. But in my mind, all I could see was the gray-faced man at the Bellagio, coughing wetly before he collapsed and died and rose. "I'm fine, Dad," Mia said when she caught me staring. "It's just dry air. Drink more water. We need to conserve. Drink more water." She drank and coughed again, and my heart stopped for a moment before starting again. Too fast, too hard. Jenna pulled me aside. "She's fine. It's not that. You don't know that. Danny, if she'd been exposed, it would have happened already. You heard what the CDC said. 15 to 30 minutes. It's been 3 days. She's fine." I wanted to believe her, but I kept watching Mia, looking for signs. Gray skin, labored breathing, the glassy-eyed stare that came before. "Stop it," Jenna snapped. "You're scaring her. I'm trying to keep her alive. By assuming she's already dead, that's not helping." She grabbed my face, forced me to look at her. "Listen to me. We are going to survive this. All 3 of us. But you need to hold it together. She needs you to be strong." "I am being strong."
No.
"You're being paranoid." She softened. "I know you're scared. I'm scared too. But we can't fall apart. Not now." She was right. I knew she was right. But knowing didn't help. Every time Mia coughed, every time she closed her eyes too long, every time she moved too slow or too fast, my mind went to that place. That dark place where I'd already lost her. That night, the third night, I stood at the roof edge and looked down at the strip. The infected were everywhere now. Not just at the Luxor, at every casino, every hotel, every building that might contain survivors. They moved in waves, following sounds, following lights, following some instinct we couldn't comprehend. And above it all, the Mandalay Bay stood dark and silent. 39 floors of tomb. "We can't stay here," I said. Jenna came to stand beside me. "Where else is there?" "The maintenance shed. The small, but it's enclosed. Lockable. If they break through the roof access." "They won't. But if they do, then we're dead anyway, Danny. A maintenance shed won't save us." I looked at her. In the moonlight, she looked younger, almost like the woman I'd married. Before the stress, before the divorce, before everything went wrong. "Do you ever think about it?" I asked. "How things could have been different between us?" "Yeah." She was quiet for a long moment. "Every day. Me too. Would it have mattered? If we'd stayed together, would any of this be different?" I thought about it. "No, I guess not. We'd still be here, still trapped. Still," I gestured at the darkness below. "Still this. At least we're together." She took my hand. "At the end. At least there's that. At the end." She said it so casually, like she'd already accepted it. Maybe she had. Maybe I should too. "Jenna, I know what you're thinking," she interrupted. "About the knife. About," she couldn't say it, "about making it quick. I won't let you become one of them. I know. Or Mia. Never Mia. I know, Danny, and I'm not asking you to promise you won't. I'm just asking, if it comes to that, make sure I go first. I don't want to see," her voice cracked, "I don't want to see Mia after. I can't." I pulled her close. "It won't come to that. Promise me anyway. I promise. We stood like that for a long time, holding each other while the dead city breathed below us. And I thought about all the choices that had led us here. Working the strip for 23 years instead of taking that casino job in Reno. Marrying Jenna instead of letting her go when things got hard. Having Mia in the first place. Every choice, every decision, every fork in the road had led to this moment. This roof. This end. Would I change it if I could? Would I choose differently? No, because even now, even here at the end of everything, I had them. My ex-wife and my daughter. The two people I loved most in the world. And if I had to die, at least I'd die knowing I tried to save them. At least there was that. Day 4. The water was running low. We had maybe 3 bottles left, enough for another day if we were careful. After that, we'd have to go back inside. Find more supplies. Risk the infected. Mia's cough was worse. She tried to hide it, but I heard her at night, muffling the sounds against her shirt. In the morning, her eyes were red. From crying or from sickness, I couldn't tell. How do you feel? I asked, pressing my hand to her forehead.
No fever.
That was good. That was something. Tired, thirsty, scared. She looked at me.
I'm sorry, Dad.
For what? For being in the way. If it was just you and Mom, you could, I don't know, do something. But because of me. Stop. I pulled her close. You're not in the way. You're never in the way. You're the reason we keep fighting. You understand. She nodded against my chest, but I could feel her shaking. That afternoon, the door finally gave way. We heard it first. A crash louder than the others, followed by the groan of metal. I ran to the HVAC unit. The door behind it was buckling. The infected had been pushing for 3 days, and the frame was finally giving way. Help me, I called to Jenna. We threw our weight against the HVAC unit, trying to keep it in place. But it was sliding, inch by inch, pushed by the weight of bodies on the other side. The shed, Jenna gasped. Get Mia to the shed. We can hold. No, we can't. Get her safe. I'll buy you time. Jenna, go. I ran to Mia, grabbed her hand, pulled her toward the maintenance shed. Behind us, the door exploded open. The infected poured out 5-10 more. Jenna screamed, not from fear but from rage, swinging a piece of metal pipe she'd found somewhere. She caught one in the face. It went down but didn't stop moving. Never stopped moving. Mom! Mia tried to run back. I held her. She knows what she's doing. Trust her. We reached the shed. I pulled Mia inside, slammed the door, threw the bolt. Through the small window, I could see Jenna fighting. She'd given up the pipe and was running now, leading them away from us, drawing them toward the opposite edge of the roof. Dad, we have to help her. We can't. I held Mia as she struggled. Baby, we can't. Jenna reached the roof edge. Nowhere left to run. She turned to face the infected, 7 of them now closing in. She looked toward the shed. Even from here, I could see her face. She was crying. She mouthed something. I couldn't hear it, but I read her lips. I love you. Then she jumped. Mia screamed. I held her, pressing her face against my chest so she wouldn't see. Wouldn't watch her mother fall 40 floors to the parking lot below. The infected reached the edge where Jenna had been. They milled around for a moment, confused. Then they turned toward the shed, toward us. Dad. Mia's voice was very small. What do we do now? I looked at the shed door. Thin metal. Single bolt. It wouldn't hold. Not against 7. Not for long. My hand went to my pocket. To the utility knife. Mia, I said quietly, I need you to listen very carefully. Dad, look at me. I took her face in my hands. I love you. More than anything in the world. You know that, right? Dad, what are you? Do you trust me? Yes, but... Then trust me now. I opened the utility knife. The blade gleamed in the dim light from the window. This isn't going to hurt. Promise. It'll be quick. Painless. Better than... My voice broke. Better than the alternative. She stared at the knife, understanding slowly dawning on her face.
No, Mia. No, Dad.
Please. She backed against the wall. Please don't. Baby, there's no other way. They're going to break in here, and when they do, then let them kill me. At least I'll die human. You won't die. That's the problem. You'll become… I couldn't say it. I can't let that happen to you. Then don't. Just… She was crying now. Just hold me. If it happens, just hold me while it does. Please, Dad. I don't want to die alone. The shed door shuddered. The infected had reached it. They were pushing, clawing, moaning. The bolt was holding, but not for long. I looked at the knife in my hand, looked at Mia pressed against the wall, crying. My daughter, my beautiful daughter who I'd watched grow from a baby to a teenager, who loved math and hated mushrooms, who wanted to study engineering at UNLV, who had her whole life ahead of her, at past tense, because there was no life ahead. Not anymore, not for anyone. I could give her this one last mercy, quick, painless, before they broke through, before she had to feel them tearing her apart. The knife felt very heavy in my hand.
I'm sorry, he whispered.
I moved toward her. She didn't run, just stood there, crying, waiting, trusting me. Even now, even at the end, she trusted me. The shed door burst open. I spun, putting myself between Mia and the infected. They poured in, gray faces, empty eyes, mouths open. The first one reached for me. I slashed with the knife, cut deep across the thing's arm, black blood spraying. The thing didn't even flinch. Dad! Mia screamed. I swung again, caught another one in the throat. It grabbed my arm. I felt teeth sink into my shoulder. White-hot pain. I screamed and dropped the knife. No! Mia was on the ground, scrambling for the knife. She grabbed it, stood, slashed at the one biting me. It let go. She pulled me backward, toward the shed's far corner. There was nowhere to go. We were trapped. The infected crowded in. 7 of them filling the small space, reaching for us. Mia held the knife out. Stay back. They didn't stay back. They never stayed back. Dad, Mia said very calmly. I love you. I love you too, baby. Tell Mom. Her voice cracked. Tell Mom I'm sorry I couldn't be braver. You're the bravest person I know. The infected reached us. I felt hands on my arms, my chest, my face. Cold hands. Dead hands. I closed my eyes. This was it. This was the end. I waited for the pain, the tearing, the bite that would kill me and bring me back wrong. It didn't come. I opened my eyes. The infected had stopped. They were standing around us, still reaching but not grabbing. Not biting, just standing there. Dad! Mia's voice was shaking. Why did they stop? I didn't know. I looked down at my shoulder where one had bitten me. Blood was seeping through my shirt, dark and wet. The wound burned. I could feel something moving under my skin. Not infection, not yet, but the promise of it. The inevitability. Oh, I said quietly. Oh no. Dad, what?
I'm infected.
I said it calmly, like I was commenting on the weather. The bite.
I'm infected.
Mia stared at me. But you're still you. For now. Takes 15 to 30 minutes. Remember? The CDC said. I looked at my watch. 4:37 p.m. I noted the time carefully. Important to note the time. Important to know how long I had left. Dad, we can, maybe if we… There's nothing to do, baby. I looked at the infected surrounding us. They were still just standing there, not attacking. Maybe they recognized one of their own. Maybe they could smell the infection starting in my blood. Maybe it didn't matter why. I'm sorry, I said. I'm so sorry, Mia. Don't apologize. This isn't… She sobbed. This isn't your fault. I should have protected you better. Should have gotten us out sooner. Should have. Stop. She took my hand. You did everything you could. You kept me alive. That's all I asked. I looked at her. Really looked at her. She was so much like her mother. Same dark eyes, same determined set to her jaw. But she had my stubbornness. My inability to quit even when quitting made sense. You need to leave, I said. while they're focused on me, while there's still time. I'm not leaving you, Mia. I'm not leaving you. She was crying again. I'm not going to watch you die alone. I'm not letting you turn into one of them alone.
I'm staying.
It's not safe. Nothing's safe. Don't you get it? Nowhere is safe. Everyone's dead or dying or already turned. At least if I stay with you, I'm with someone I love. She pressed against me, holding tight.
I'm staying, Dad.
You can't make me leave. She was right. Couldn't. And the truth was, I didn't want her to. I didn't want to die alone on a rooftop in Las Vegas, surrounded by the dead, forgotten by the world. At least this way I'd die with my daughter. At least there was that. Okay, I whispered. Okay, baby, you can stay. We sat together in the corner of the shed, my arm around her shoulders, her head against my chest. The infected stood around us like gray statues, swaying slightly but not approaching. Outside, the sun was setting. Another Vegas sunset, painting the sky orange and red and purple. Beautiful. Still beautiful even now. Dad. Mia's voice was very quiet. What happens after? After what? After you turn. Will you still be you? I thought about that. About the gray-faced man at the Bellagio, biting that woman's face. About Tommy's voice on the phone, watching it happen on 30 different screens. About the infected at the Luxor, climbing over each other, driven by mindless hunger. No, I said honestly. I don't think so. Will you remember me? I don't know. She was quiet for a moment. I'll remember you, even if I have to. She couldn't finish. I knew what she meant. Even if she had to kill what was left of me. Even if she had to use that utility knife, lying on the shed floor, to stop me from hurting someone. I know, baby. I know. 4:51 p.m. 14 minutes since the bite. I could feel it now, not pain exactly, but pressure, like something was pushing through my veins, spreading from the wound. My shoulder had gone numb. My fingers were tingling. Not long now. Mia, I said, I need you to listen. After I turn, you need to run. Get out of here. Find somewhere safe. Find other survivors. Dad, promise me. Promise you'll keep fighting. Keep living. Don't give up. I promise. And know that I love you. More than anything. More than... My voice broke. More than everything. I love you too, Dad. 5:03 p.m. 16 minutes. My vision was blurring at the edges. Colors were fading to gray. I could taste copper in my mouth. Smell something rotting, though that might have been the infected around us. Mia, I said urgently, you need to go. Now, while I'm still me enough to tell you to go. I'm not. Go. I pushed her away harder than I meant to. She stumbled, caught herself. Run, Mia. Please, don't let me hurt you. Don't let me. The words stuck in my throat. My chest felt tight. Wrong. Like my lungs were filling with something thick and dark. Mia was backing toward the shed door, tears streaming down her face.
I'm sorry, Dad.
I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Just, I tried to stand, fell back against the wall. My legs wouldn't work right. Just live. Promise me you'll live. I promise. She ran. I watched her go, watched her push past the infected. They didn't stop her, didn't even seem to notice her. Watched her disappear through the shed door into the fading light. Then the pain hit. It wasn't like I'd imagined. Not slow, not gradual. It was sudden and total, like being pulled apart from the inside. I screamed or tried to. The sound that came out wasn't human. Wasn't anything that should come from a human throat. The shed walls were very gray now. Or maybe my vision was gray. Hard to tell. Everything was fading, dissolving into shadows and static. I thought about Jenna, falling from the roof. Wondered if she'd felt peace in those last seconds or just terror. Wondered if she'd thought about me. I thought about Mia, running somewhere in the dark. Hoped she'd make it. Hoped she'd find somewhere safe. Someone to help her. Some way to survive. I thought about 23 years working the strip. Thousands of shifts. Millions of hands dealt. Countless tourists won and lost. All of it meaningless now. All of it gone. 5:09 p.m. 19 minutes since the bite. Danny Reeves, pit boss, ex-husband, father, died on the rooftop of the Mandalay Bay, surrounded by the dead, as Las Vegas went dark around him. What rose in his place wasn't Danny anymore. It didn't remember its daughter. It didn't remember anything. It just stood up, swaying slightly, and walked out into the Nevada night, following the others, following the lights, following the sounds, always following. Mia Reeves survived another 6 days. She found water on the 23rd floor, food in an unlocked suite. She barricaded herself in and waited for rescue that never came. On day 6, she ran out of water. On day 7, she went looking for more. She never came back. The strip stayed dark. The city stayed silent. And somewhere in the ruins, the infected wandered, endlessly pulling at slot machine levers that would never pay out again, forever chasing a jackpot that would never come.